or not something I'm following, but I need to check and see where do I find just the game. There we go. B7s, women's sevens. Oof, maybe not. Oh, that could be fun though, because I do want to watch this. Okay. Oh, that could be fun. I'm gonna make it a theme. It's gonna be a theme. Um, there we go. All right.
Oh, Aaron, I like your pick up top. That's a vibe pick.
That'll be fun.
Spain's ruling the world right now.
Power of friendship.
So
Yeah, that's true.
Keep it. Yeah, keep it going.
Yep. By the way, hello YouTube.
Hey, YouTube.
Well, I think I'm good if you guys are. We'll
I
just
think
like
I'm good.
if there's anything. Obviously, it's a little weird because YouTube. Welcome behind the scenes. We're recording 2 episodes in one night. So if there's anything that we feel like is a bigger section that we want to put next week, we can just kind of feel it out. But I figured episode 7 will be a little shorter, which is totally fine. So
Also, you know what?
Yeah.
No, I'm getting rid of my. Oh man, I want to pick. I'm just gonna watch it. I'm not gonna do hot takes. I'm just gonna follow it.
Josh, did I send you something I was following?
Let me see. I have Twitter right here.
you said the
You're gonna
Jalen
talk about
Brunson
the
contract.
Oh yes. I will definitely talk about that power of friendship.
Mm-hmm. Are we putting CONCACAF in as a main topic? Is it big enough to be a main topic?
Normally yes.
I know people were literally climbing through the ventilation shafts.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I know it's Olympic week, and we have to. We want to.
Yeah.
I can
We
just
can
make
talk about
that
it.
what I'm following. I mean, it can be what
And-
I'm following. Dude, that's more interesting now than Jalen Brunson, because good lord.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause the
I'll
amount of
just
people
make it
who-
what I'm following. Josh, the sport you're most excited to watch is just breaking. Breaking what?
No, that's the
What
new
are you,
sport.
what are you breaking?
Oh, I'm breaking
breaking?
your brain with the
Breaking.
brand new sport. I'm so excited. Breaking news. We got a new sport.
Yeah, we do.
Boo, boo.
Hey, this is a check.
Hang on,
This
where's-
is
Wait.
they
Dude,
listened. It's best
relays
heads
count as
material.
teams.
Wait. There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
I have a
So
question.
back.
Do relay
No, Ernst.
groups
That
count
was
as
Ernst.
teams?
Say that again. Do relays?
Yes.
I wasn't
Does that count as a team?
in the bottom one or the
Where you have
The,
for the
episode
bottom
7.
one. Yeah, you said pick a team.
I was probably gonna leave out.
It's okay
like,
if not.
I was gonna leave out like regular swimming. Like I was gonna avoid
Okay,
like
you
some
want
of
a
the.
team. Oh, I was going to do track.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah,
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's what it's called.
well, actually, Johnny, why don't I switch you? Why don't I switch your pick?
Hmm?
Oh, never mind. No. You already got Kaylee Decky. Never mind. No, you're good. You're good.
who has qualified.
Are you cool with that, or you want me to
Yeah.
pick a team?
No, that's good. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, August 9th and 10th. Wow, that's gonna be forever. I gotta pick an earlier one.
I'm good though. By the way.
Yeah, I'm. Too.
Oh yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, I'll get
Let
it
me
started.
open this new tab. Let me open 15 tabs on my laptop that can handle 15 tabs.
There you go. All right, here we
My
go.
recording's good.
Oh, sorry, Audacity didn't load. Audacity is giving me a beach ball.
Oh, that's fun.
Beach ball is gone. Hello. Beach ball has been eliminated.
Amazing. All right, here we go. Welcome to the show. Listeners, it is good to have you here. If you didn't read the title of the episode and you just clicked and you're like, oh boy, what are they talking about today? Olympics, for the most part. Olympics this week, Olympics next week. We are getting you ready for Paris 2024. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, Paris 2024 is almost here. We're talking less than 2 weeks away. Number two, we on the podcast collectively love the Olympics. We get super nerdy and super into this kind of stuff. And number three, if you are a new listener, there's a good chance that you have followed us because of the Olympics. So we want to say hello to you. If this is your first
guys.
ever show, welcome to the madness. If what you saw on Instagram and TikTok, you thought, wow, those are some well-catered, organized videos, well, thank you. This is not what you find
Welcome
here.
to the opposite of that.
Yeah, this is just kind of the raw, just us without a filter talking about sports. But we're excited to have you here today. It is Olympics week. There's a lot of other stuff that's happened in sports. We're not going to totally ignore it. There was kind of a fiasco at CONCACAF, Copa America, whatever, whoever was in charge over there. That was a mess. We'll talk about that.
Still figuring that part
We'll
out.
talk a little bit about a video game that released today that I am tragically terrible at. We'll talk about that. But we really want to just move straight into the Olympics. Guys, before we do that, how are you guys doing? Johnny, what's up, man? How's your week?
Good. This is the first, it's not the first weekday without soccer, but finally hit me that there's no soccer today. Even when we didn't have Copa and the Euros going on, once we got to the knockout stages, there was a few gaps. The MLS even helped fill some of those gaps. So there was pretty much soccer almost every single day. So I'm a little in mourning today.
Yeah.
Day after the finals, not having any soccer to watch to distract me from work.
Yeah, right. Thankfully, you only have to wait less than 2 weeks, but I know it's not quite the same,
Right.
the Olympics, but yeah, well, that's good. Josh, what's up, man?
I'm doing great. I decided to take up running because here's the thing. And those of you listeners who are like me and like a certain percentage of the population who are in apartment complexes and not super cool homeowners, apartment complexes.
Comply, I
things-
believe is the plural.
Oh, complicy. Thank
Yes.
you. And I appreciate and that's the type of maturity that Aaron does bring to the show. Thank you so much. So
So
the apartment complicy have these things that they list as amenities, but really what they mean is things that just jack your rent up.
Mm.
And so me being the sensible Midwestern I am, go, oh, you're paying me $10. I'm paying you rather, sorry, $10 a month as an amenities fee to use the pool, which isn't open most of the time, or the gym, which is just 3 Pelotons and like some free weights. Well, guess what? I'm getting my $10 worth. I'm running to at least justify this $10 a month.
Yeah.
Darn it if I don't get the deal on them. And so I found this cool thing. I forget who did it. It's called the Couch to 5K program. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing interval
Yep.
training all the way up to 5K, hopefully by September. So when Aaron and Johnny visit me in September, I'm going to be cut. But Johnny,
We'll race, Josh. We'll
you're a big
race.
fan. You're a big fan of running, Johnny, right?
I love running. Running's the best.
Running is the worst.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I have done 3 runs. I had to buy like fancy running things because I don't own
Yeah.
running clothes. And turns out it's just like it's just regular athletic stuff. But it is the worst. At what cost? Is there supposed to be a runner's high? Am I supposed to enjoy this?
No.
You never felt the runner's high at any point in time?
I mean, yeah, when I hit stop on the treadmill and I go, oh, it's over.
Oh, well, there's your problem. You're on
Yeah.
the treadmill.
Okay, but what's the alternative
Hey,
is that
hey, Johnny,
he burns
Johnny,
up with
Johnny.
the Texas sun
It's
in July?
102
No,
degrees
no.
outside today with
what
65%
temperature is it at?
humidity.
What temperature is it at 6 a.m.?
It doesn't matter. I'm asleep.
Yep.
Oh, see,
Irrelevant.
Well,
that was a dumb question.
first
John.
issue.
That
He's
was
asleep.
See, don't you look stupid? No,
Uh,
what my plan is, I condition myself on the awfulness of the treadmill, and then I'm about the running path that is right behind my apartment complex, singular that time, is about a mile away from like the big fake lake that Dallas put in to pretend like to let all the rich people pretend like they're by something substantial, and so I'll start running around that fake lake eventually once it gets cooler, so like December or January.
all right.
But
Well, good
hey,
for you,
I'm
man.
trying to get one over. I'm trying to get one over.
Yeah.
On these greedy apartment complexes charging me $10 a month for amenities I
Yeah.
don't even use.
Yep.
Trash valet, paying $15 for trash valet.
Yeah.
This could be a whole apartment thing, and we're not going to have that because there's too much excitement. It's Olympics o'clock.
It is Olympics o'clock. We'll get into it. Let me ask you guys this. There's a lot of sports. Depending on how you break it down, the way I believe the Olympics themselves break it down, there are 44 different sports, if you will. Now, some of that, you've got some combinations, right? Because I think even in those 44 sports, swimming is just one thing. And you obviously know there's a bazillion different kinds of swimming events. There's the backstroke, all that stuff. So that's considered one. Like canoeing's the same thing. You have like slalom events, which are very different than sprint events. Those are all included as one. Bottom line, there are a lot of different events. I'm curious what you guys enjoy watching. Obviously, you have the kind of typical gymnastics, swimming for especially us in the U.S. because we dominate those sports. But is there anything specifically you guys are really, really amped to watch that maybe is flying a bit under the radar?
Yeah. I think one thing you guys know about me is I really do love like the classics. I love like the standards. And so for me, I really am excited. TikTok has been feeding me nothing but like 2019 athletics championships. So like specifically like
right.
the shot puts. That like 3-way battle. And so like I am very excited for like the traditional Olympic sports, the high jump, or I don't know that was original.
I think so.
I'm not the smart one. I don't have a
pretty
degree in
close to it at least.
Shot put, discus, hammer, javelin. It's throwing. I'm so excited to see big boys just throw, and big girls too, just throw stuff really far.
Yep.
I'm a simple man. I just throw rock far.
Yep.
Shout with joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you guys know me. I'm one of the most breaking, leading edge people.
Oh.
Period. And you know this about me. This is who I've always been. And so I'm so excited to see breaking.
Yeah.
The sports.
Correct.
That is made for chess heads. Welcome to Chess Heads. It's the middle of the show. Welcome to Chess Heads, the podcast within a podcast, showcasing the latest breaking sports news and sports adjacent news. But you know what? This isn't sports adjacent. It's in the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's a sport legally. But breaking competitions is finally in the Olympics. They tested it at the previous place, Pan American Games. That's what I meant to say. 32 contestants, 16 B-boys, 16 B-girls. That's the official terminology.
I know, but why? Why is that the official terminology?
Because that's the heritage of breaking.
I'm trying to have a good attitude about this. So
Thank you
for
it's going to be
helping.
so good. You're very welcome. Say what? What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Did you say anything on my podcast? This is my show, Johnny. You're supposed to mute your mic and let me talk about how cool breaking is. There will be 16 B-boys, 16 B-girls. It's later. It's the 9th and 10th of August. So you have plenty of time to pregame.
Yep.
Do not pregame for 4 weeks. Please don't. At least maybe 2 weeks. You guys are going to have so much fun. And then finally, I'm so excited for the equestrian events. Man and beast combining together, dressage, jumping. I'm just so ready.
Dressage is wild.
Dressage sounds so. I mean, it just
doesn't make any sense to me.
There's nothing. And it also
it's horse dancing.
It's horse
Pretty
dancing.
much.
Is that not beautiful to you?
Yep.
And again, right up the chesshead's alley.
Americans don't have a chance in something like that. Europeans,
we use our horses for real things, like posing in country music country song music videos.
Yeah,
I don't know anything, but my assumption is Spain and Italy are probably the dominant in dressage.
I'll do some fact finding for you there, Johnny. That's a good question. We'll see one last
year. Chile sending one. Is this one horse? One. I don't know what's in the parentheses.
Maybe the rider.
United States is sending maybe riders.
Oh, Germany absolutely kills at this.
Oh, Germany. Okay,
just flat dominant. Really, since. I mean. You can even throw some West Germany in there. That's how long they've been dominating this.
That's how long. Yeah. Man. All right.
They don't need that. They don't need the cheats by doubling the size of their nation to be good.
Yep.
Nice. What I'm looking forward to are the obvious ones in some senses. Like, I love watching beach volleyball. Like, I don't know why, but I like watching the men's and women's beach volleyball. There's something about it being like 2v2 on the sand that I love. This year,
the venue,
if you haven't seen a photo of it,
oh my
wild.
Gosh.
I mean, it's right next to the Eiffel Tower. It might as well be under it. It's so cool. I love that. I love the swimming. My family's swimmers, so we always watch that growing up. Like, I love watching the swimming. Like, Katie Ledecky will obviously be somebody I gotta watch. All the kayaking events, I love the kayaking events. The slalom is crazy. Like that'll be so fun. I'm also, though, like, just some more like sporadic, people might not like really be paying attention. I'm all about watching surfing. Surfing's a great casual watch because like you can't predict the waves. So like it could be a really good day for surfing. It might suck. It might be terrible. But there's also a reason why that's in Tahiti, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
Like you can't put that in France. But I like that. I love watching surfing. It's very chill. And then like sport climbing, last Olympics was the first time with sport climbing, I believe.
Yep.
That honestly is pretty cool too. So I'm all about watching those. Basically, if it's a sport I don't typically watch, I'm all about watching it. While I love cheering on the basketball team and stuff, I can watch those guys most of the rest of the year. And maybe it's also because I take for granted that they're probably going to win. While I'm super fascinated in these other sports, I get to watch them once every 4 years.
Yep.
All about those. That'll be super fun.
Yeah. I agree with you guys on all of those. It's hard for me to find a sport that I am not looking forward to watching again. And even with breaking, like, would it be my choice? Like, of all the things, and this is also, consider this is me coming at this from I've got literally a baseball jersey hanging up in the back. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got my baseball collection back here. Like, how is baseball not in the Olympics? That's kind of the thing I always fall back on. But you know what? I don't have a huge beef with it. It'll be interesting.
They're going to compromise by giving us. I've lost everything. This is so professional. I interrupted you to just interrupt myself with lack of thoughts. They're gonna give us flag football
They are.
next. So
Yep. And
we
they're
will be
giving
able
us
to see
baseball. They're giving
Tyreek
us
Hill
softball.
completely body like
Yeah.
everybody,
And
but-
I don't think breaking's actually included in the 28 games. So it's kind of a one-off for right now. We'll see if that changes. Obviously, part of that may just depend on how well it goes, but I think it'll be fine. I think people are going to at least be talking about it, which is always kind of fun. So I think a couple of the events that you guys haven't necessarily touched on yet that I'm specifically looking forward to. Johnny, you said beach volleyball, which I 100% agree with. I think the indoor volleyball is unbelievable, especially the men, like men's
Oh
and
my
women's.
gosh.
But the men's,
insane.
if I was there, I would die. I would
Yes.
get hit by the ball from a guy that jumped 13 feet in the air. I would try to receive the ball. It would cave in my chest cavity, and
You
I
ever
would
watch like a
Concussed into
NASCAR
another
race?
planet.
yes.
You ever watch like a NASCAR race and a car crashes and a tire flies into like the stands and
Yep.
like gets caught by that like
Yep.
netting? That's the speed at which a volleyball
Mm-hmm.
they're slamming it, and
Yeah.
your head would come clean off. I don't know if we
Yep.
can say that for Spotify. Sorry,
Yeah,
now we have
we
a
did.
tag on Spotify.
We already did. It's said it. It's unbelievable. I want to see a dunk competition between the volleyball team and the basketball team. That's what I want to see. That would be crazy.
You know what? Slam ball. Why
Honestly,
does
the
slam
volleyball
ball
is
not
probably
be in
more
the
vertical.
Olympics? We have 3-on-3. We have
We
the
do.
traditional slam ball. Come
Yep.
on, let's do it.
Agreed.
2032.
Yeah. So that one's wildly impressive to me. The other one that's wildly impressive to me is water polo, because it's basically football in a pool, but you're throwing a ball while you're treading water the entire time. I would drown
And
within a
somehow-
minute. I'd
And I
also
feel like it's more
I'm just
violent,
listing
yeah.
off sports that I would die trying to
I
participate.
lose an ear.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, crazy. It's unbelievable.
yes.
And we'll talk about this a little bit more probably next week, but Team USA women, real good at water polo. They're going for 4 straight. So we love to see that. So anyways, I think those are probably some that I'm looking forward to. I also have to bring up basketball, and I know there's a part of the crowd that's like, okay, we talk about basketball all the time. Can we talk about the other sports that happen once every 4 years? I think that's a totally valid argument. However, I, as a basketball fan, cannot not talk about LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Anthony Edwards, you name it, a bunch of people that are still really good that I didn't list just now,
Yeah.
on the same team representing the Stars and Stripes. It's so much fun. Even in like they've had to do like 2, not even qualifying games. They're kind of like tune-up games for the Olympics. They played Canada, they played Australia. They let both teams kind of get back in the game late, but it's something else. Watching Steph Curry lob LeBron James. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm also excited for that. But let's talk about it. We talked about breaking a little bit. Josh, that was a good breakdown. Johnny, you mentioned you like kayak.
Break down.
Okay, I can't do this. I quit.
Welcome back to Chess Heads.
Yep. Nope. I'm quitting the
Pop
show.
up when you
This is
least
it.
expect it.
I'm going to go be a failing streamer trying to play College Football 25 and pretend like I'm not in my late 20s. Kayak cross is another new sport. So there's really only 2 this year. There was a lot more introduced last year. We can talk about some of those as well for those that may not have caught it from 2020 or really 2021 technically. Kayak cross. So if you're familiar with canoe slalom, the point is you're just trying to go down this man-made river that's got rapids and obstacles and you're trying to weave through gates. So it's that event, but add 3 other people that are trying to go down the course at the exact same time in
I
a
love
race.
it.
It's going to be super
I'm watching
fun.
that live, man.
Yep.
I'm watching that live.
Yep.
That's like the other ones are fun, but they're like you said, Aaron. They're all timed, and you just get like a point deduction, I believe, or a time. You get a time. You get a time adage. If you just miss a gate.
Right.
So it's fun, but it's not direct competition, even though like track is technically like a time, it feels like direct competition. This is like straight up direct competition. I love it. I'm all about it. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's
I'm
gonna
marking
be
that
super
one
fun.
on my calendar.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
That'll be a good time.
Yeah. And just as a reminder, so what got added last year, I think we mentioned most of it. Surfing was one of those. The sport climbing was one. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention on the new Olympic events. We have the surfing. This year we have kite surfing. as an event. So that's super fun too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Let's
Yeah.
go adding that to my list.
Yep.
Okay.
Kite surfing.
Very good.
So that's super exciting. I believe that's also in Tahiti. I think that's because I think technically it is a subcategory of surfing. So that's also happening.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, that's more of a race than it is like a do tricks and stuff. But I could be wrong.
Still very intrigued.
Yeah. In all fairness, I have not written the script for that video. By the way, if you're trying to consume all of this information and you're like, what the heck? How do you know how? We have a video series on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on YouTube of just a quick breakdown, like literally 60 seconds or less on each sport. So that's been going really well. A lot of you have tuned in. We have a lot of new followers. So again, I said it in the intro, but if you're joining us from seeing those videos, then hello and thank you for watching. And yeah, those are out there for you to watch to try to, because I'm in the same boat with you guys. Even though I'm the one making the videos, I am still trying to figure out how some of these events work. So that'll be super fun. Yeah.
Hey, and if you're in Tahiti this year, they're breaking new grounds. You're gonna love me. You're gonna
I hate it.
This next episode.
Josh, you're banned from the next episode.
Yeah, we're kicking you out.
It's too
a 1 week suspension for Josh.
That's why I have my own podcast already. I've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
Spectators are going to be allowed for the first time. Now, again,
that's
this is only the second time, and the first time was under COVID restrictions.
Yeah,
so kind of a no-dust situation. But still,
yeah.
If you happen to be in Tahiti, anywhere between July 27th and August 5th,
just on accident,
just stop by.
Who's among us has not wandered accidentally to the island of Tahiti?
I was there just the other week.
Oh, yeah. So this is happening in Paris, other than the Tahiti things. So, question about how one should consume the Olympics, because it's in France. I believe they are 6 hours ahead of us. So,
yes,
typically what that means for us, and again, we'll have all of this on our website available. We've got a bunch of resources where we'll talk about more next week, which for those listening, technically we're recording again tonight, but for you, it'll be next week. Anyways, what is the strategy for watching this? Because a lot of times it means for us, events are starting at like 2 a.m. and they wrap up typically, the last events of the day typically start around 4-ish p.m. And this is Eastern time I'm talking about. Now, the best, and this is not a, well, it kind of is a plug, but this is not a sponsor. Peacock will be able to stream everything, as far as I know. And Josh has already got it pulled up. He's ready to go.
Look at Simone Biles. This is how excited we are.
Yeah.
We've not even talked about Simone Biles getting back in and dominating.
Yep.
Like, there's so much. Anyway, yes, you can go straight to Peacock or go straight to your parents' Peacock account like I did. And
right. So
we're going to have all the fun things.
Yep.
They have it by sports. If you want to specify, if you're just not in the mood for everything and you just want to really hit basketball, you really want to hit beach volleyball, diving. Oh, I'm so excited for diving.
Diving's amazing.
Such little splashes.
That one might be one of the events that I'm just stunned every
single time,
because they're just like, wow,
that's another one I'm going to die.
Terrible
that's another one I'm dying.
Did you see that their pinky toe, it bent like half a centimeter? Look at that splash, and I'm like,
what a loser!
Splash?
What splash? It didn't.
Yeah. What do you mean? The synchronized diving, like wild.
Yeah.
Guys, not to interrupt, but I
go ahead.
do have an update on the Seine River.
Cleanliness.
Yes, we got a Seine update.
Would we like that?
Yes, we would.
Would we like an update?
Yes.
So on the 13th, just 2 days ago, the French sports minister did actually jump into the Seine. You remember they had promised previously that they would jump into the river to prove that it was clean enough for the events to actually occur. If you want more on that, we have our previous podcast, but also basically sewers overflood when it rains and fecal matter goes into the river. So people have been like, you can't have your events here. And they're like, yes, we can. So I at least respect the fact that they put their money where their mouth is. They
Yeah.
jumped in the river. I like that. So all that to say, despite the fact that, some swimmers and some people are like, I don't really want to swim in the river, France is moving forward with it. And they're at least like, hey, if we're going to tell you to jump in the river, we'll jump into the river. So
Yeah.
that was just 2 days ago. So I'm fascinated. I'm excited. Opening ceremonies, I believe, are going to take
Correct.
part on the Seine.
Yeah, this is the
basically.
first
So,
time in Olympic history we're not having the opening ceremonies in a stadium. This apparently,
I kind of love it.
I do too. They're going to
that's
literally
different.
float down the in the river on a float. That's the two words I've combined together, which
It'll
I think
happen
is
quicker.
awesome. Probably.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
It can't happen any slower introducing all the countries
True.
for the Summer Olympics. So it's going to be, I think it'll be amazing.
I do too.
If you're not familiar, the Seine just flows literally right down the center of Paris. So it should be a sight to behold with at night,
Mhm.
opening ceremony and everything. Should be amazing. Also, shout out Mongolia's opening ceremony. It's not a dress, uniform. I don't know. Either way, it looks awesome.
I'll have to check it out. I don't know if I've
Very
seen
ready.
that one yet.
Yeah, really cool kit.
Fun fact about the opening ceremonies, and this kind of loops back into what we were talking about as far as time and how you should manage your sleep schedule with the Olympics. That's probably a topic we could talk about. The
We sleep
opening
in September.
Exactly. That is actually it's more like, well, yeah, we sleep never. September's fine.
We
too.
sleep when we're dead.
Yes, we sleep when we're dead. The opening ceremonies for us, again, I'm speaking Eastern time because that's an easier. Even if you live in Mountain Time or Central Time, you can convert because you're used to it. It is happening at 2:24 p.m. Eastern time. Why such a weird number? Well, because in France, that is 8:24 p.m., which then if you convert to military time is 2024. So that's why you see when the opening ceremonies are Eastern time, 2:24, Paris, well done. Slow clap from Josh, 2024. So pretty cool. Now, getting back to how you should watch, how you should not sleep. Again, not an endorsement, not an advertisement, but Peacock is only like $6 or $7 a month. And they will stream every single event. And I believe they'll have every single event available on demand, which is good news. Because if you are like us and you're like, oh man, diving, I can't wait to see the 3-meter men's synchronized springboard final. Bad news for you, unless you're a morning person. That's 5 a.m. Eastern time on a weekday. Good news, Peacock will have it available. Again, I'm trying to confirm that they'll have on-demand events, but they have every Olympics since I can remember. Either them or NBC Olympics. So some source. They will have it on demand, which is awesome. Peacock was a pretty good. Was Peacock out for? Well, I guess they would have been out 2 years ago, and that went well. I thought so.
Yeah,
I do think it's worth it. I don't love sports being behind streaming, but like $7 basically to watch whatever Summer Olympic event you want for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that seems
This is a lot
super worth it to me.
Than like getting like a Tubi account and trying to like
Oh,
make sure you
gosh.
don't, or Fubo or whatever these
Yep.
dumb names are, and like make sure you cancel before your $90 charge comes
Oh
through.
my, yeah.
Of course, you can record it. I know most people have the ability to record, and almost every event will probably be on one of Comcast channels. But yeah, like
I'm
Aaron
just hoping
said,
TikTok starts feeding me some of these.
$6 is pretty worth it to not have to watch all the commercials and everything. And it's well worth that. Not an advertisement necessarily, but I love Peacock currently. They have a good system rolling. I think they're even going to have recaps. So
they
like
are.
if you don't want to, obviously you're not going to watch every single sporting event, but maybe you want to know how Team USA is doing just in general, and you kind of just want to see the highlights of them. I think they'll have that too.
Yep, they will. And NBC is going to do their usual thing. And I think they do a fine job too, but it tends to be, here's the swimming, here's the gymnastics, which is great.
Yes.
Obviously that's what every American's basically tuned into, but we mentioned at the very beginning, there's like 44 different sports. So will you see handball on NBC? Probably not. So you may have to do your own legwork there. But again, I think it's worth it. I'm excited. Cannot wait. We will be talking more Olympics next week as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And we're about to talk more Olympics right now because it is time for Picks of the Week. All right, so we have a lot to cover because we had several weeks in a row where we were picking major tournaments, and they basically all ended on Sunday. We had not quite a sports equinox in terms of, Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, all that stuff, which we had one last year. But we had both Copa America and the Euro Cup in soccer. We had Wimbledon, and then we had Australian League football. So we had picked all of those things. So I'm going to try to break down how we did, what our points are at. If you're new, we have a current point standing. At the end of this season, whoever has more points from their picks wins a Panda Express burrito. So here we go. Argentina wins Copa America. We'll talk about that in a moment. Spain wins the Euro Cup. Also a good time for Spain because Carlos Alcaraz wins Wimbledon on the men's side. And I think that was all that I'm including all those things because that impacted what we picked. Also, Australian League football. Johnny and I got that correct. Unfortunately, the Crows or whoever Josh picked did not.
The Kangaroos.
Oh, that's sorry. The Kangaroos.
I picked the Crows.
That's right. The Crows did well.
Crows.
The Lions did well. The Kangaroos got absolutely trounced.
We exited season 1 with the potential for me to get 6 points right off the bat.
We did.
And I don't think I've had a pick hit since. Obviously, I've had enough. You
did pick Argentina to win the Copa, so I believe you got some points there.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm not. It's yes, I did, but
now Johnny not only picked Argentina to win, which they did, he had them playing Colombia. So maybe for the first time ever, Johnny got 3 of 3 possible points. 2 points for each championship team, and then the fact that Argentina won it, he got an additional point. So it's probably no surprise that Johnny has 8 points and Josh and I have 6. So I picked up a point with Spain winning the Euro Cup. I had Germany beating them, but they at least made the final. I also had Alcaraz winning Wimbledon. He did. So that's where we're at. Johnny's up 8. Josh and I with 6 points. Now we are talking Olympics again. We're making Olympic predictions. It's pretty open-ended because we can basically pick just about anything. And Johnny, there's a reason why Johnny won season 1. There's a reason why he's ahead in season 2. He's smart about these things. Johnny very quickly made a pick that is probably as much of a lock that you will find in the Olympics in any of the 329 medal events.
It might be the most watched known result of a sporting event ever.
Yeah.
Just because it's insane watching Katie Ledecky swim. I mean, she's shattering her own records by like whole body lengths.
She will have the 17 of the top 17. Like she will be 16 places ahead of herself.
Yes,
if not more. By
and
the
no
end
one else
of
is
this
there.
Olympics.
And the remarkable thing about the Olympics is in 20 years, somehow somebody will break her record.
They said this about Mark Spitz.
They said this. Yeah, it will happen. I don't know how, but she will. But just look forward and still watch because I'm picking also the longest race. So I'm picking Katie Ledecky's because we have to be specific here. I can't just pick her to win something. She's going to win the 1500 freestyle. So this is the longest race. This is only the second time that the 1500 is being swam by the women. She obviously won it in Tokyo in 2020, 2021, whatever you want to call it. But just look forward to when the camera struggles to show her and the other swimmers in the same frame.
Yeah.
That is really what I'm looking forward to. I wish there was a bet on FanDuel for that. How long into the race will Katie Ledecky be before she laps someone? But that'll be on July 31st. Obviously, we're picking these things a few weeks ahead of time. So if you want to see the final, it'll be then. But you'll get to see her warm up in the heats even before that. So yeah, I'm picking Katie to win that. This is her. I mean, she's literally our age.
Yeah.
You know, she started off in London in 2012. I mean, she was 15. So this is her fourth Olympics. She's got 7 golds already. Looking forward to see what she can add. You know, what she can add to that total in her remarkable career.
Yeah, I'll pull up the numbers here, but I believe she's 4 gold medals away from being the most decorated female Olympian ever. Not just swimming, because I think she's only 2 away from that.
Right.
Most gold medals of any female ever. Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. You pretty much have to be a track and field or swimmer to compete for that. But yeah, remarkable. Just because that's the only events you can compete in enough to really get up there. But yeah, remarkable. Hey, we watched Michael Phelps do it in Beijing. It'd be cool to watch Katie Ledecky do it now.
100%. I'm going to go tennis because I really enjoyed the Wimbledon final. I've really enjoyed Alcaraz. The more he's played, the more he's gotten better somehow. The more I've really enjoyed his game. Nadal of the big 3 has always been my favorite. They're pairing up. I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago. They are pairing up. They are playing doubles in the Olympics together, representing Spain. I mean, Spain had a good week. So I think Spain's going to keep it rolling. I didn't even look at like the odds for who's supposed to win doubles. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't even tell you another doubles team that's competing.
It's a great vibes pick. Aaron.
It's such a vibes pick. I want it to happen so bad. Even if there's an American in their way, like, yes, I'll root for Team USA, but that, you know, I love those too.
I mean, cool. It's total like torch passing.
Yep.
Like totally like Nadal's finally pretty much done. And here you go, buddy. Like the next Spaniard is just waiting in the wings, ready to take over. He was phenomenal at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
That's his 4th major already, I believe. He's still just a young kid.
Oh, he's 21 still, I think.
Yeah, he's still just 21, and he doesn't have the big 3 to hinder him. So just as a tennis fan, I'm really fascinated to see if somebody can rise above, because there's a solid group below him, but they're clearly below him.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated to see if anyone can rise above Zverev, Sinner, Medvedev, if he can keep it up. Like if one of those guys can kind of rise up and actually compete with the guy, because he's phenomenal.
Man, what am I doing? What was I doing at 16? Nothing. Just nothing. I'm going with a longtime listeners to the show. You know that I love, and vibing too close to the sun is like a thing that I love doing. And I feel like, could I pick Simone Biles for like a cool Olympic thing? Absolutely, I could. But that's not a vibe. That's just, you know, I have confidence in that. And confidence is boring. You know what I do want? I want to watch, and also just because I'm really, with the release of college football 2025, whatever it's called, I've not yet bought my new console for it. Because I still have a billion-year-old Xbox One, and it was yelling at me last night, so I might have to replace it anyway. Anyway, I need to watch the closest thing to football, rugby. Now, specifically, you rugby heads out there, you know who you are. This is rugby sevens. This is not the 15-a-side rugby union that was discontinued in 1924, as we all know. So we're watching rugby sevens. Ended up following a few of the United States women's players on TikTok back last time, and had a fun time watching them. Picking the men's this year, and I'm going with a 3-peat for Fiji. They've only had rugby sevens the past since 2016, since Rio. So Fiji defeated Great Britain in 2016 and New Zealand at Tokyo. So I'm excited to see potentially a 3-peat. Now, if someone like New Zealand or Samoa, because Samoa's in this year, if they come in and win, I'm not going to be upset. But vibes pick. I love a classic 3-peat.
Yep. I'm excited for rugby. I don't know if we mentioned that in one of the sports. I'm excited for it all, but rugby's crazy.
Oh yeah,
So fun.
Those tiny Polynesian island nations, man.
Yep.
truly.
Yep. 100%.
Never a doubt.
All right, so look, I knew there was going to be some rust playing this new game that's been hyped up for forever. So there's a lot of important decisions that folks are making around College Football 25. Because we've had 11 years to think about what school we want to rebuild, where our character should go to school. There's a lot of important decisions. One of them was also just, what's the first thing you're doing when the game opens, which it did literally a couple hours ago. So I decided I want to play Bedlam. I want to play Oklahoma State, partially because in a tragic sense, this rivalry is dead for right now because of conference realignment. But because way back in NCAA Football 14, my first dynasty rebuild was Oklahoma State. So I really enjoyed playing with them. I don't think I ever lost to Oklahoma. So I was like, okay, we'll run it back kind of for the nostalgia of it. And I opened the game and I set the difficulty to All-American, which I believe is the second most difficult. Heisman's the most difficult. All-American's the second most difficult. Because I think that's even what I played on 14. And I get the ball first. So I put together a decent drive in classic Madden / college football fashion. Vibed a little too close to the sun on a 4th and 4. Turnover on downs, but not bad. Like it was in their territory around the 35.
You have to get it out of your system.
Yep.
Did you stray from the HB slam, Aaron? You strayed, didn't you?
Oh, I'm Oklahoma State. It's air raid, man. That's what I grew up playing. We play very differently.
But see, that's how. That's how I would play
very differently.
I'm gonna take like Oregon to the Natty, and it's only HB slam all the way through.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
That hurts. That's
chaos.
The worst possible combination of our games,
and that's why I'm doing it. I'm winning in my first season.
Yeah. Well, Oregon's loaded in that game. They've got some wide receivers with crazy speed. Anyways,
that's right. That's still a marquee team.
Yeah.
App State.
So not a great first drive. Like, okay, that's tough, but I felt okay about it. 3 plays later, Oklahoma just goes right down the field. Touchdown. It's like, well, okay. I mean, another defense is not like great. Jim Knowles has been in the Ohio State defensive coordinator for a hot minute. So they're trying to get back. I think they might even have a new DC this year. Whatever. I get to kick off and I miss a field goal on the second drive because it's difficult to kick field goals on this game. It turns out, if you have not seen clips of it,
I saw a screen grab. Holy crap.
And mind you, I'm playing at home. I'm playing at Boone Pickens Stadium.
No.
So it's not like it should be that bad, but still shank a field goal. Like Ohio State, Georgia levels of bad. Oklahoma gets the ball back. 2 plays. Right down the field. Touchdown. My third drive, I start panicking. We don't have time to run the ball. I'm playing on 5-minute quarters. We got to get the ball in the end zone right now. Pick 6. 21-0. And that's when I decided, you know what? I need to go back to the tutorial, and I need to not be playing on All-American. And that's where I left it, because I had like an hour to play today before the show. So I was served my humble pie.
We did get the text today say, hey, I'm going to be late.
Yes.
And then I pulled up Discord to make sure that like 15 updates haven't pulled up.
Yep.
And it says, hey, Aaron Lynn, playing CB25. And I'm like, this is why you're going to be late. You got to finish.
Yeah. Because I was playing it, but I also had to make dinner between now and the show. Because as I mentioned, we're recording a double show tonight. So anyways, so I got my humble pie. It was good. I did a flip on Twitter right before the show, and a lot of people are experiencing the same thing. So I am not alone. That feels good. But what feels bad is that it's not like I was playing some 12-year-old kid who's like, gaming 5 hours a day and is just really good. I was just playing the computer on a relatively normal difficulty and just got absolutely smoked.
I kind of love that, though.
Yeah.
Making you guys earn it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I love that.
Overall,
you can lower the
yeah.
difficulty still. Like,
Yes.
it's not like
Yes.
you have to
What would
play
Coach
at that
say?
level. Like, you can build back up, Aaron.
Yep.
Build back up.
Yep.
Build up that O-line. You got to recruit.
Yeah. Now, I think I may have talked about this last week, but just some wisdom so you don't get bullied online. Do not make your first dynasty Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama,
No.
Texas, Michigan, any of those. Don't do it. It's fine
Wrong.
if I mention one of your favorite teams, that's fine. Play with them in a couple, like just pick up games, get used to it. But do the dynasty the right way. Actually rebuild a program. Then if you want, if they offer you the job later on, good for you because you've earned it.
Aaron, where's your start?
Hawaii.
Where's your start?
Hawaii.
A wonderful choice.
Beautiful.
An admirable
fantastic
choice. Although I heard, because the stadium's still under construction, they don't actually have that in the game yet.
Yep.
But I did hear that they're probably going to give you a patch later on to fix that. So it's a very reasonable thing.
Yeah. And
Josh,
that's truly
who would be
true
your
rebuild.
starting rebuild? Who are you starting with?
App State. I'm going all the way.
Ooh,
Love it.
That's good.
Again,
that's good.
Another great pick. Nobody would. Again, if you followed this show at all, you could probably easily guess my pick. It is that beautiful, gorgeous, volatile green wave.
Yep.
Yes.
I will be starting with that beautiful creature.
Yes.
That will be the beginning of the rebuild.
Now
that was my second
re-enter the
choice.
SEC and kick Alabama out.
Let's go.
We will do it.
Yeah. Now, did you hear? Because Tulane has so many different uniforms, and most of them are in the game.
Love it.
You can have a different uniform combination in the game with Tulane until the 2031 season. You won't repeat.
Take that,
There's
Oregon.
there's enough combinations. There's like 200 some. And I
love it.
Kent State's the same way because I think Kent State, that's an excellent pick. One, because that's a team in desperate need of a rebuild. Two, I think they have
Wagon wheel.
22 helmets in the game. 22.
Beautiful.
Aaron, can we just real quick, because I know we got to talk more Olympics later, but hats off to the folks at EA.
Yes.
Like I have seen people like, man, this is so much harder than I remember. But I'm sure there will be issues because there's always issues. But I have not heard a negative thing yet.
It's been
my
my
God.
experience has been
And
very
I think
good.
there's like 1 million people who are online currently playing.
Yes.
It's probably more than 1 million people now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was
everyone's home from
556
work.
a little bit, but yeah, now it's
yeah.
Everyone's home from work. They've eaten dinner. They're playing. And I just thought of it because you're saying all the helmets that they have in the game from Kent State. I think they actually had real
Yes.
people who are passionate
Yes.
and love college football for this
Yes.
game, and I think you can see it. So we rant and rave and get angry on the podcast enough and tell people that they did a terrible job. So EA, great job.
Yep.
Great job.
I
Thank
mean-
you for bringing the game back.
100%. A good example of that, Johnny, you and I have been fortunate enough to cover a couple games at Miami, Ohio. And I showed you kind of what the stadium looks like in the game.
Great.
It's perfect.
Wonderful job.
Great
Wonderful.
attention to detail.
It's like somebody had clearly had almost been to the game.
Yep.
Maybe they had literally been to the stadium.
Yep.
I don't know what goes into all the graphics and everything, but they aren't just generic. Nothing about the game's generic. It captures the uniqueness, the ridiculousness of college football.
Yep.
It's not just a Madden game with the logos and uniforms and players just slapped on. It is its own game, and they got the goofy, ridiculous part that makes us love college football. So I love it. Happy, can't wait to play the game.
Oh, that's good.
I knew my mind wouldn't be in the right spot to play immediately, so I was kind of waiting. I have soccer overload, but I can't wait to
Fair
play
enough.
when I do.
Yep.
Man, I love the nostalgia that we are kind of using. That you started this off with, Aaron. The nostalgia into something new. Speaking of remembering things, y'all remember the Jeremy Renner app?
No.
No.
Oh, you don't?
Should I?
Oh.
No.
Oh my gosh, it was one of the best apps.
No.
It was an app. I'm going to be mature about this. So you all remember Jeremy Renner? Germany
Yep.
Rimmer.
German,
you know, all that
Germany Rimmer, him too.
German Ramon. Jimmy Renner, a lot of us know him as Hawkeye
Mm-hmm.
in the Avengers, Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I know he's in other things. He has a rock album out.
Oh,
He's gotten around, and I'm sure he has other movies. I just know him as Rock Hawkeye. And this is going so well. He was really popular back in the day. Hold on, I'm bringing in the app. He was really big, rising stardom. He's like, you know what I need to do? I need to make an app just for and about me.
oh,
Instagram's not cutting it. Twitter's not direct enough. He came out with Jeremy Renner Official back in 2017. And it was an app set up very similar to Instagram as far as like a visual layout. And except imagine Instagram, but the only person who can post anything is Jeremy Renner, and that's the only person you can follow is Jeremy Renner.
oh.
And so he would
Wow.
post a few things every day, and you got a chance to instead of liking, because that's boring, you could send stars in the app to like send your votes. Were those stars free at first?
Oh no.
And then you could eventually start paying for stars. And if you sent enough stars to one of Jeremy Renner's posts and you were top 3 for a post for that day, he would send you a personal interaction.
Oh.
Oh.
So you could pay for Jeremy Renner and this beautiful Rennerverse, as it became to be known.
Oof.
All of this beautiful interaction. It was well loved, except that it was so unregulated that a lot of scammers could make fake accounts and trick you into saying, hey, I'm the real Jeremy Renner. Give me all your money.
Ooh.
Very quickly, very easily. And the official story was also maybe it was a scam because there was a video that Drew Gooden and I'm forgetting his name, the guy who looks like Drew Gooden. He was on Vine. Anyway, I'm old.
You aged yourself there, buddy.
I did. Danny Gonzalez and Drew Gooden made a video where they used the beautiful, beautiful Jeremy Renner app and accidentally spent $400 by pressing on the star button just a little bit too long. And because of how when you put like Apple in, like your Apple Pay in, it's already like, fingerprint or face recognized. He hit the button for too long and accidentally gave $400 automatically non-refundable to
Yikes.
Jeremy Renner.
Wow.
The public face was that it got shut down in 2019 due to security issues and scams and all of that. But then 2 days ago, a channel for Disney's Slack program got hacked. And a terabyte of data in the form of emails, concept sketches, raw images and code, some logins, the standard things. Among all of this, 2 days later, we find out in 2017 through 2019, Jeremy was under. Hey, Google, I didn't ask. Sorry, Google. No, sorry. Google really wanted to talk to me about the Jeremy Renner app. If you remember, this is such one of the most professional episodes. You are welcome, listeners. The data breach revealed that in internal emails sent from Disney to Jeremy Renner, who was in our Marvel Cinematic Universe at the time, they shut him down. They shut down the app purposefully because they were genuinely worried that this app dedicated to and for Jeremy Renner would be a legitimate threat to Disney Plus. And so they made him delete the app. And now all of the fans of the Rennerverse, man, this is how they had such a good time on this Jeremy Renner app. Every Wednesday, you know what they did every Wednesday? It was Wednesday. for Jeremy Renner. Every Wednesday was Wednesday. Disney took that from him and straight to jail Disney, specifically for denying us the beauty that is Jeremy Renner official. If he's able to launch it back up, I'm so excited for it to come back up. What did you do to us, Disney?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Josh, that app sounds just about as exclusive as the Longhorn Network was the first thing that was popping into my head. Hey, got him.
Let's go.
You know how I
Ooh,
was
nice.
just giving such good vibes and we were feeling all the nostalgia about, the new college football game. And
Right.
it was positive. Well, if there's one thing I'm good for on this podcast, it's dogs interrupting the podcast and
Good
being
vibes
angry
around
about
the soccer
something. Yeah, being angry about something to do with soccer. So, welcome to soccer fans that would like to hear my take. We mentioned it with Picks of the Week earlier. Copa America finished yesterday on Sunday, and so did the Euro Cup. So wonderful tournaments. Really enjoyed watching both of them for the most part. We'll focus on the Copa America here for a second. So let me give you some background if you're not a soccer fan, just really, really quick. The Copa America is a South American tournament historically. It's run by their federation that runs it because every region in the world, as I mentioned before, has their own federation for soccer that helps you qualify for the World Cup. So it's, for the most part, by continent. So South America has Copa America, which is just like the Euro Cup. It's their continent's championship. However, they traditionally have invited outside countries because if you're familiar with the geography of South America, it's not that many countries numerically. So it's not necessarily great for a prolonged tournament. Their group stages, when they don't invite outside countries, are really quick and boring because many times it's just a couple it's not that interesting. So they invited CONCACAF nations this year. That's why you had the U.S. competing in it and Canada doing super well. If you've been following the tournament at all, though, it has been a PR disaster. Not only has CONMEBOL invited CONCACAF nations, which is North America's federation, they allowed it to be hosted in the United States. Now, what does that mean? That means you have a tournament hosted by a federation, but not run by that federation. What could go wrong, right? So this actually isn't the first time the U.S. has hosted Copa America. They actually hosted in 2016 previously, and they didn't have these incidences. But that's because CONMEBOL handed everything off to CONCACAF, the host, and allowed them to run everything. This time, and you'll see a lot of outrage and a lot of people who don't, if I'm just being honest, don't know what they're talking about, are blaming the U.S. and CONCACAF. And I'm not going to let them off scot-free. But the initial blame here lies on CONMEBOL. And blame for what, you might ask, if you're not following soccer. If you probably saw it anyway, though, even if you don't follow soccer, what happened last night. So they had the final in Miami. The gates were rushed by all the fans. And you're like, oh, the fans going to the game? No, like all the fans, including ones without tickets. The game ended up getting pushed, I believe, a total of an hour and a half back just because the fans stampeded the gates. Not only did they stampede the gates, they snuck into the stadium through side, not even entrances, just like side avenues, holes that they could find in the facility. They were climbing through ductwork to climb through, like basically like a movie, trying to climb in through the ventilation shafts. It was madness. It was chaos. They said there were people standing outside afterwards that couldn't get into the game, who had legitimate tickets. And mind you, these tickets were all $2,000 plus. This is not even $100, $200, which would make me upset to begin with. This is $2,000 and more. People were nearly getting stampeded on the way in. Look up some of the photos of what happened to like the escalators and areas that just got absolutely destroyed and trashed.
Like destroyed like
Obvi-
all the glass broken.
Yeah,
The track's gone.
security wasn't even checking people. Who knows what people brought in last night? It ended up being I believe it's the president of soccer for Colombia, and he's the VP of CONMEBOL, got arrested last night because he was like, after the game, there was chaos there. It was horrible. It was overfilled. Like, they wouldn't let people in with the tickets because so many people without them had run in. This is not the first issue, by the way, that's happened at this tournament, but this was an absolute unmitigated like disaster. What has come out afterwards is that they've pointed the finger at each other, the two federations, of course, because of course you would. CONMEBOL said, well, like, CONCACAF basically said, hey, like, yeah, like, it's in North America, but CONMEBOL asked to run it this time. We gave them recommendations and they didn't listen. And CONMEBOL pointed back and basically just said, no, it's your fault. Didn't really give any reasons why. So CONMEBOL is running the show. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami has hosted the Super Bowl. They've hosted F1 races. They've hosted all these giant events, and they've never had issues like this. So in one sense, it can't just be the facility's fault, because otherwise we would have seen this previously, right? Okay. It's CONMEBOL's fault because they are running the tournament. This is absolutely unacceptable. The field conditions have been absolutely horrendous. The officiating's been terrible. We had players fighting fans in the stands to protect their families in the Uruguay-Colombia game afterwards. So they didn't have enough security there either. It's been terrible. However, CONCACAF agreed to this as well, because the U.S. Soccer Federation is still involved in all of this. So everybody who also wants to wash the US's hands clean, they're also out of their minds, because you contractually agreed to this. You didn't have to. You ran it in 2016 and you didn't have these issues. Don't agree to the contract unless you are able to put in the security measures you want to. Because whether it's your fault or not, this looks horrible when you're hosting the World Cup in 2 years. And the number of people saying they can't host the World Cup now is remarkable, a remarkably huge number. And I can't blame those people, because optically it looked horrible. People who had tickets literally just turned around and went back to their hotel because this isn't like, they're like, I have my kids here, this isn't safe. And it probably wasn't. They probably made the right call, but that's horrible. Nobody should ever have to feel that way in the US to watch a soccer game. So, I mean, I was kind of embarrassed, like, just being a US soccer fan, watching everything go on last night. That was terrible. I absolutely hated that. But yeah, that's a long rant. They have so much more that they'll have to do. Hopefully, my one takeaway from it is hopefully this means, and FIFA will be running the show for, the World Cup, not obviously CONMEBOL or even CONCACAF, or, the U.S. Soccer Federation will be involved, but it won't, like, it's FIFA standards, and it's all consistent FIFA standards. That means, like, the entry gate isn't the entry for everybody with a ticket. You have to show your ticket like 200 yards further away from the stadium. You have a whole security fence lined up there. People were even talking about when they went to the Super Bowl there, they're like, how was that not put in place for this game? That, like, makes no sense. So there was just some idiocy of what was going on. But hopefully all of these terrible experiences in general will make sure that they fix them for the World Cup. Messi had a non-contact ankle injury. I hope that wasn't because of the turf, sod, but it very well could have been.
Yeah.
So I am hopeful that they fix these things, because it was an unmitigated disaster where when I'm watching the Euros, I can kind of just focus on the soccer, and I'm watching, the Copa America, and I'm just waiting for somebody to either get into a fist fight, or the ref to make a horrible decision, fans just hopping onto the field. Something's going to go wrong that's soccer adjacent, and nobody wants that. Everybody wants to be able to watch the game. They even lost audio at one point yesterday. Yikes. And the audio was like 15 seconds ahead of the live feed. we had that angle of the U.S. game from space, for the Kansas City game.
Yep.
It just
Oh man.
there was always something. So I've ranted about this long enough. I apologize. That has been on my getting that off my chest because
Fair
I
enough.
hear a lot of people who don't really know exactly what they're talking about. But generally, just very bad look for U.S. soccer. Horrible tournament all around for U.S. soccer on and off the field. Very embarrassing.
Oof. Yeah. Well, hopefully either some combination of the U.S. men's and U.S. women's in the Olympics can bail us out.
Yes.
Which we'll see. The women, obviously, it's a little bit of a new look for them. Men's is different because it's U23, but I mean, they should get out of the
Women got a
group
shot.
with Guinea and New Zealand. Like, you're going to get beat by France, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Josh, any action statements for the Olympics?
Ooh, you know what? Get a little too proud of your country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go,
Yes.
go, and I will say, for swimming, yes. Gymnastics, yes. Basketball, of course. Get louder and more obnoxious the more niche sport it is.
Yeah. The less
If
you
an
know.
American-
The
if-
less
if
you know about
Ameri-
it, yell louder.
Yes. So if like the U.S. somehow wins in like a fencing
Mhm.
or like a taekwondo, or heaven forbid like table tennis, like go nuts at your local wherever you're watching this.
Mhm.
Have
Yep.
fun.
The less you know, the louder you should be. Make your just noise make up for your lack of knowledge. So
And isn't that the American way?
it kind of is. It kind of is. All right, listeners, thanks for being here. Again, enjoy the Olympics. We'll talk to you next week. When we talk to you next week, the Olympics will be starting that day. So next week, we're going to be talking more Olympics. We'll talk a little bit more about Team USA. We mentioned, obviously, some athletes that are notable. We're going to talk about that a lot more next week. So enjoy that. Stay tuned to our social media. As I mentioned, we've got those videos coming out. We also have a lot more just on the Olympics in general, so stay tuned there. We may have some streams on this YouTube channel with College Football 25 if I can find a way to not completely embarrass myself. That might be happening too. So stay tuned. Listeners, I hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you next time. All right, I'm going to export just so that one's safe.
Oh, just this? Perfect.
Yeah, and then I'll
Yeah,
make a new
that's
one.
fair.
And I'm also gonna go put
Sucks.
my dinner away.
Oh yeah,
I'll go be
I'm
right
gonna
back.
go stretch. I'll be back.
By the way, YouTube, if you're hanging out with us, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I want to know one of two things. Number one, what niche or not niche Olympic sport are you most looking forward to? And number two, going back to the college football conversation, what team are you most excited to rebuild in dynasty mode? So if you're watching this and you have answers to those, put those in the chat and we'll respond before we jump back into the show, because we're recording next week's show in like 2 minutes.
Woohoo.
We are so back.
Yeah, YouTube, you get a two for one from us tonight. So apparently
Sorry
the home.
for the.
Oh no, you're good. Apparently the home run derby is going on right now, or it's about to.
Oh, yeah.
about to go on, and
Yep.
the national anthem was apparently terrible.
Oh, I totally forgot about the
Hang on.
home run derby, honestly, with everything going on, and I'm kind of okay with forgetting about it. Not that I don't enjoy it, just, sorry about the dogs. I feel like I've been
Oh
dog sitting for a month.
yeah, I bet.
And Maple hasn't barked at all this whole time. And just decided to sit right next to me and bark during the podcast. You couldn't have done that during a meeting?
Let's see how bad this is. YouTube can hear this. Hang on.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, or the
What are you playing?
The national anthem for the home run derby.
Oh.
It's pretty rough.
Is it Fergie rough though?
Yeah, like you still you got the same. Ooh, it's getting worse as we go. You're getting the same clips of the players like smiling at each other.
It was Fergie, right?
Yeah. Yep.
For the NBA.
Yep. Ooh. Ooh, it's good. I wish there was a way I could broadcast this.
That was a wild timeline. It was a wild timeline that night.
Yeah.
Not as wild as the Clippers being bounced out of the playoffs and playoff P's emergence, but pretty wild.
Yeah. Sorry, YouTube. I probably shouldn't subject you to this. You probably heard this already. Austin, by the way, what's up, man? He says excited for archery. That's a good one. So he says Sophia's crying. It's so
Yes, sir. Archery.
yeah, dude, I'm excited too. We'll
Because
talk
of the game.
Uh,
Austin, did you make her play the game? Is that
no,
why?
No, he says
Or
he's
is
got to
it
get a new
because you're
Xbox.
upset at the game?
No, he's saying Sophia's
Oh.
crying because the national anthem was so bad for the home run derby.
Oh, I misunderstood. Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, the tweets right now are just fantastic.
Oh, it's crazy.
All the coaches out there.
Yep.
It's literally somebody texting their wife, "Good morning," and his wife says, "Good morning" back, and he says, "That's good morning, coach," to you.
Oh yeah.
Like, just the guys are killing it right now.
It's so funny because
It is a day for the boys.
Yes. And my wife's TikTok algorithm is basically the opposite, where it's all these girls who are in support groups for one another because they're not going to see their husbands or significant others for a week. So
A week. They won't see them until college football season starts, and then they
Well,
won't see them then either.
True.
During the week, they
All right.
might.
Yeah. But yeah, until Conference USA and Maction, that is, at least.
Mm.
Austin,
That
Archer's
is
a good
the-
pick, by the way.
Archery is a great pick. I thought about picking a team from archery, but it all the previews I read
Korea.
didn't fill me with confidence. And I was going off of their opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
So all I remember is the South Koreans were killing it
Oh, yeah.
last time. I mean, they were just dead eye.
Yep.
But I think it was the women specifically. But apparently, people think they might get knocked off this year. So
Well, yeah, there is the number one women's archer in the world is from U.S. So Yeah. I think I'm good to record if you guys are.
Yeah,
This will be a
well-
little bit shorter, probably. Because
Yeah.
we won't do like all of the usual things.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, I'm going to make sure that the export worked
Yeah.
and just
Oh
make
yeah, I
sure
gotta
that I have
close
that.
Audacity too and reopen it. I think to record it properly.
Episode 6. Yeah, you know what? I am just going to do a close and restart because
Yeah, let me do
I
that.
don't want to lose this save. No, I don't want to save anything. I already saved it.
You already exported, Josh.
I already exported. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Today at 7:22. We're good.
All right, we're all
So
good.
we're gonna-
I'm good on my end.
once it reloads.
All right. I'm recording.
I am too.
And I'm in.
All right. Welcome to the show. It is another Olympic preview because we had so many thoughts on the Olympics that we just didn't want to cram it all into one 2-hour episode. And instead, this is kind of a bonus episode, which it's a normal episode, but it's bonus. The reason why is because I am going on vacation. So I will be gone the week before the Olympics, which in hindsight, that's tough timing because that's when you want to talk about the Olympics. So Josh and Johnny, to give you a look behind the curtain here, have been kind enough to two-a-day tonight. So the episode you heard last week was recorded just in our time. We just recorded an episode. We're moving right into the next one. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different. We're not
Just
going to
as
do
fresh as ever.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to do everything we normally do because I'm not even going to ask Josh and Johnny how their days were because I did that an hour
Terrible.
ago.
Oh, I had a whole extra one.
Oh,
I
okay.
had a
Sorry,
whole
Josh.
extra-
How was your day? How was your last 5 minutes since
well,
we
here's
last
the
spoke?
no, the bit was going to be that I was going to pretend like I was going to make up things that would have happened.
Oh, that's
next
fine.
week.
All right.
Oh, that would have happened
All
next
right. All right.
week.
Josh, what's up, man?
Exactly.
How was your week?
Oh man, the week. Man, today, July 22nd, as it was crazy.
Yeah.
I worked. I went to the DMV, which is not the DMV down here.
Mm.
It's called the tax assessor's office.
Oh, that's worse somehow.
Just like it's not the Department of Energy, it's like the Department of Railroads. Like Texas calls things weird things down here. Had to go transfer my car title from, where it was to where it is now. And the line was so long or short or medium. So Aaron, what you'll do is
Yeah.
you'll just give me. I'll send you the corrected file of how
Okay.
long or short or medium it
Yeah.
was once. Okay,
Yeah. Gotcha.
and it was so successful, unsuccessful. Again, we'll do that thing where like if it was or not. Yeah, I don't
Correct.
know.
Yep.
And that was my day.
Hmm.
So crazy. I saw. That space is where, if you want to, you can add something else. If you think it's kind of fun. Yeah.
You know, the best part about this
It's
is
kind
I
of like honestly,
deleted
it's like a
all
Mad
of this
Libs.
and just replaced this with AI. Al Michaels.
Oh, that's so
AI
fun.
Al Michaels.
No.
AI
no.
Al Michaels.
No.
AI Al Michaels. Yeah.
Just to warm us all up for
No.
the Olympics.
You can't. Hey, Johnny, you can't spell Al Michaels without AI. Hi, welcome to the worst. The worst segue
This is
ever.
why we're not allowed to record back-to-back shows.
Boo.
We use all the big
Oh,
jokes.
My day
We
was
use
good
all
though, Aaron.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm recording with you guys from the woods. I just finished hiking all day, so
Oh.
just a wonderful time. I'm not
Oh.
sure how I'm recording with you guys with my
How-
laptop here
how
in
many
the
bears
woods.
You see.
How many bears? Well, just West Virginia, so not very many.
I
It's the
got
future, Johnny. You can say whatever you want. Say you saw 15 and they all loved you.
Mhm.
15 in West Virginia.
Yes. It was a miracle.
My week was not great because I sacrificed my family and friends just to play College Football 25 all week, and I got no better time with them. To be clear, I didn't sacrifice them. I should clarify. Although honestly,
okay.
at this point,
I thought
probably
you sent them into the transfer portal.
yes,
That's what it was. Yeah, sorry. Sacrificing is
Yes.
the EA term
yes,
for the transfer portal because they couldn't get the rights to the name.
yeah.
You didn't
I'm
have good
assuming
enough
that I have
NIL.
not actually gotten better this week, and that if there was some deal with the devil, that's probably the only way I would get better at the game. Probably.
Just a sleep deprived Aaron. Aaron
Yeah.
has not slept in the week intervening between these podcasts.
Yep,
And
probably
he
not.
is still at best 7 and 6.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
Aaron,
That's
if
probably
if you
100% true.
if you had to be transferred,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
and you don't, this is an alternative universe where you don't get to decide where you get to go.
The
in
portal chooses you.
The portal
Mm.
chooses you.
Mm.
Where are you getting sent? Your answer
where's the
cannot be
portal
Ohio
sorting
State.
hats?
Let's say you're getting transferred from Ohio State,
Okay. Was I good?
so you can't
Oh
pick
yeah, I
the
was to say,
Buckeyes.
yeah, because was he like a third stringer?
3-star backup,
All right.
but you haven't played.
The portal is probably dropping
he's-
me in the most obscure place possible. So I'm going to say it's just dropping me at Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders.
Oh, I was gonna say Memphis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's
exactly.
pretty close. Yeah. I don't know why. Just it's something real random. But maybe
Some
I'm a
random
starter
guy.
there now. So.
Just has like a ton of NAL money available.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, can we just talk real quick? No, we're not going to, because that's going to be what I'm following.
Okay.
Anyway, continue. Nothing happens. What?
That's right.
Oh wait, are we doing what we're following this week?
We can if we've got it. Sure.
Oh no, I'll just do it real quick. Hey, welcome to Chess Heads.
Okay, sure.
Welcome to Chess Heads. This sport is spending money. Did you guys see Phil Knight basically gave Oregon an unlimited NIL budget? Did I talk about this last week?
I don't think so. I don't think we talked about it.
No. Unlimited NIL
Is that
money.
new though, Josh?
It was like
I
last
feel
week.
like is
It was well,
it-
this at the stage of this recording, it was probably
no, I don't even
3.5
mean that.
weeks
I
ago.
feel like they've always had an unlimited deal with Phil Knight, basically. Like,
oh, see, it's that thing where like, no one knew where those challengers were coming from for the Alabama players, and now it's just out in the open. So now he
Fair
can
enough.
say at the age of 86, I am
they get into a
giving you
bidding
guys
war.
exactly. Now they
How
can
much do you
bidding war.
need again? Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So, in other news, the regulations for NIL will come within the year, because this is probably the only year of like the true pay to play, and it's going to
I
get
don't
way
know.
too odd.
It's asking a lot of Congress and the NCAA.
Yeah.
All right, California, you know what to do. Pull up a random lawsuit,
Yeah. Well,
force the issue,
let's.
but not before Ohio State takes advantage of the NIL money they spent.
There you go.
If we're gonna have 1 year of like the Group B rally era of like there is no regulation, may as
Mhm.
well come out on top
Yep.
real quick.
Yep. I
If you're
totally
gonna
agree.
cheat all the way, except if you're Michigan,
I was about to say. Huh, interesting.
unless your name is Jim Harbaugh,
Yeah. Yeah. Good for them, I guess. All right. So,
it's still gonna do nothing. They're still gonna be like 8-3.
probably this year. That sounds about right. 8, 4, 9, and 3. We'll see. Olympic preview week number 2. Now, if you are listening to this episode the day it comes out, good news. The Olympics are actually on today. They're on 2 days before the opening ceremonies. Everyone kind of has that July 24th date. You even see it promoted on NBC like, hey, the Olympics start. No. They start on July 22nd. Can I read you the schedule for July 22nd? Now, there's only 2 sports, but these 2 sports start early because they're longer competitions. They need rest days in between. They are football or soccer, depending on your nation of origin, and rugby sevens. And they start at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Again, this is July 22nd. It's a Wednesday. If you are listening to this show when it comes out, there you go. Maybe it's already happening. So tune in. You can watch replays. Get pumped for Uzbekistan and Spain to start the Olympics at
Yeah.
9 a.m. Men's Group C. The other teams in Group C are Egypt and the Dominican Republic. They play at 11. But Group B, and actually all the groups are just playing. Literally everyone's playing. So there's soccer. Team USA, the men's, they play France. So we are just going to get our butt whooping right out of the way. Just set a tough tone for the Olympics, probably get a 4-1 beatdown by France. But then it's all up from there. Now, our men's rugby sevens team also plays France. So it could be really good. It could be a really bad day. We might hate France after this.
What's the cricket team doing though, Aaron? There's no cricket.
Yeah, I don't
is
know.
there?
Not this year. 28.
Sad.
They play France at 10:30 a.m. They also play Fiji at 2:30 p.m.
Wait,
So,
the same day?
Yeah, they play. They're shorter games in rugby sevens.
What?
So they play 2 games.
That's wild.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like it's
Insane.
it's rugby. That's crazy.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Yep.
gonna have to watch that.
Yep.
That talk about a war of attrition.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the NFL needs double headers.
No, don't give them ideas, Josh. No, don't give
Yeah.
them ideas.
Yeah, it's.
Hey, what if we played 32 games this season?
Oh boy, they would if they could. They would if
that-
they could.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I that was Wednesday. Thursday, there's also events. Thursday, we start at 3:30 a.m. Eastern time. I told you your sleep schedule is going to be crazy. Just get used to it. Thursday at 3:30 a.m. is the women's individual ranking round for archery. After they're done, the men have their individual ranking round. If you're not familiar with what that is, basically every archer shoots 72 arrows. They total up all the scores from those 72 arrows, and that's how they're seeded in the brackets for the individual competition, for the team competitions. Because when we actually get into archery, the competition, it's just a bracket. It's 1v1 kind of deal. If you want to know more about that, there's a couple of great resources I would love to point you towards. Number one, we made a video series describing how every sport works. The upside is that those videos are 60 seconds or less. So it's a really quick explanation. The downside is that it's 60 seconds or less. It's a quick explanation. So there's some things I just couldn't include in the video. Our Olympic magazine, again, like we said, we're recording in the past, but our Olympic magazine should be available right now on our website. You've hopefully already seen some advertisement for it. It's basically kind of a game program almost, if you will. Like if you go to a sporting event and they give out programs and it's got the rosters of players and schedules and information and all that stuff. That's what we've tried to accomplish here with the magazine. So it's got descriptions of how everything works. It's got schedules for everything. So if you really are like super dialed in, like you want to watch and you want to be awake for every single Team USA men's rugby competition, on the rugby page, there is a schedule with highlights in blue when Team USA is playing. It shows how the game works. It shows who's been good in the past, when the medal events are, pretty much everything we could possibly think that you might be interested in. We have jammed into this magazine. It includes every single country that is competing, what their flag looks like, what their 3-letter code is. So when you see something like MCE and you're like, what the heck is that? And you learn it's like Macedonia or something like that, that's in the magazine. Also, the master schedule for every single day is available in the magazine. So I hope if you haven't checked it out already, I hope you will. If you have, thank you. And I hope it's been a good resource to you. So like I mentioned, Thursday's archery, more football. The women get underway. The women's team on Thursday plays Zambia at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Our only hope in the soccer field.
And then we have more rugby sevens. The men's team playing Uruguay, and then potentially playing in the quarterfinals later that day if things have gone well. And handball is happening as well. Unfortunately, that is much more of a European. I don't say unfortunately, meaning it's not good that they play it. Handball generally is a very European thing. It's growing in the United States, but no U.S.
middle school gym class.
Oh, very nice. That's also kicking off on Thursday. So there's a lot of events before we even get the opening ceremonies underway. That happens Friday, the opening ceremonies. That's the only thing that's happening Friday. And then Saturday really, really starts. There's like hundreds of events pretty much every day for 2 weeks after that. But I wanted to make you aware, if you were not, that the Olympics start today or Wednesday. So that's me trying to communicate times when I'm sitting here on July 15th. But hopefully that's helpful for you all. Hopefully you're enjoying that. Last week we talked about our favorite sports, what we're looking forward to watching. If you did not get a chance to listen to that, it's available on Spotify, on YouTube, all the places. This week, we want to highlight some athletes, especially on Team USA, really, is because, again, we're Americans. So if you were looking for something else, then tough. We're talking Team USA. We talked about Katie Ledecky a little bit last week. I think it's worth bringing up again because she's so dominant in the races that and everything. We're talking about someone who could become the most decorated female Olympian ever. And that is worth bringing up twice on the same show. The same thing is true for Simone Biles in gymnastics. Her return has been pretty crazy. I think she just won an ESPY for like the best returning athlete of the year or something. Because, I mean, she's basically, since the last time we saw her, which was obviously kind of a tough situation for her in Tokyo, she has rebounded. She is winning championships. She has even more rules that and tricks that are named after her. She has a trick named after her that is banned in the Olympics because it's so good and potentially so dangerous that she did. It's named after her. It is not allowed in the Olympics.
Even she's not allowed to do it. That's how good she is.
She's too powerful.
And the thing is like, these are not, and this has been what's incredible. She's our age.
Yeah.
And she's from Columbus. Just another quick connection.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just for a few years and then spend most of her time in Spring.
All right.
Texas. But
we're claiming it.
Doesn't matter. She's in Ohio and she's from here.
Yep.
An Ohioan, 4 years. Counts. She is obviously not the first gymnast to have moves named after her. She's also not like the first person to do well past the classic, like maybe prime age. She's a little bit older than what classically is considered prime. Her most recent move, the Biles 2 on the vault. By the way, that's the second Biles 2 she has.
Yeah, right. Like that implies.
I'm gonna mention that again. She has 5 moves named after her. Only 4 of them are eligible for the Olympics because one of them is way too dangerous.
Yep.
Now I can't tell you which one because I can barely. The Biles 2 on the vault is
You're not even allowed to say it, Josh.
It's a Yurchenko entry on double pikes backwards off. That's the most recent one that came in 2023. She invented something last year. What did you invent last year? Sleeping in again. That's what you invented. So she is not only competitive at an age that she is the Tom Brady of gymnastics right now. Insane work ethic. Yeah, felt so bad getting the twisties. That's the worst name for it because it implies it is so much more serious than the name entails.
Right.
I am so excited to see her. She killed it at the most recent US championship a few months ago, which was in Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. Fantastic. Very, very excited to see what she does.
Yeah. And the whole, obviously Team USA is just stacked when it comes to gymnastics.
Anyway.
The whole team.
Right.
Like probably.
We're not even talking about,
Right. We're not even talking, like Suni Lee was literally the gold medal winner in the individual all around in 2021. And she's on the team. Jordan Childs on the team. Like this team is crazy. If all things go well in Paris, the qualification to make Team USA will be more difficult than the Olympics themselves. And that's not to discredit any country. I know Brazil's got a really, really good competitor. There's a competitor from, I think, Albania who's supposed to be really good, could potentially threaten, which that's kind of sick.
Awesome.
But just goes to show you, like, it's actually crazy what Team USA has been able to accomplish. Again, assuming all things go well, but as of right now, I don't see a reason to be super worried. So that's
I mean, they should compete for the all-around, obviously.
Yep.
I'd like to think we could get multiple medals in the all-around individual, and then the team. There's not really an excuse this year to not win the team. Unlike last time. Last time, unfortunate situation, but I think expectations are that they get that back this year.
100%. There's a couple track and field athletes that I think are worth bringing up here. Again, Team USA focus here. You've got Sha'Carri Richardson. She's expected to do some damage. Noah Lyles really came on strong. If you are a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And anime, then he's your guy. He's pulling out like his card collection after he just smokes the field in the 200. He's like, oh yeah, here's this like cool Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. So the vibes, if you're going based on vibes, Noah Lyles is kind of the guy here. Track and field doing some sprints. I wanted to bring up Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone in the U.S. trials. She broke the world record, which I believe she owned in the hurdles. I think it's 200-meter hurdles. She owned the world record.
400.
400, thank you. She owned it. She broke it Like that's just crazy.
Yep.
It's going to be exciting to watch her do her thing in Paris
Yeah,
as well.
it's the 5th time she's broken
Oh man.
the world record. Yeah, she did it in the trials. It's the 400-meter hurdles. So again, if you're not familiar with 400 meters, it's one lap around the track basically, and she did it in 50.65 seconds.
Jeez.
I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I could run that loop without
Oh,
the
no.
hurdles
No.
remotely near the 0.65 seconds. And again, this is where we say, wouldn't it be wonderful to just have your average American like trying to attempt this alongside of them?
We need that.
Just to actually see how remarkable these athletes are. Yeah, no, insane. Sorry, I just went out a few more details because I was just, oh man, I saw that video and that got me hyped for the Olympics because I'm like, man, they're breaking the records in the trials.
Yep. I do think that brings up the question though, if right now, present day, like you in this exact moment got kidnapped basically and taken to Paris and someone said to you, you have to compete in the Olympics. What sport are you choosing based on what you think you would just be best at?
Fencing. Hopefully, it's a quick death.
That's a good answer.
Well, okay, but Josh, you want to do well. Something that you think like what would you be most equipped to do? Not just wanting
Most equipped, like
death.
right now. I'll tell you
Right
right
now.
now, the one thing that I'm like, there is a.
You choose speed walking.
I don't think. No, see,
They're speed walking
is
like 9
deceptively
miles
hard.
an hour. I can't run that
Yeah, I was
fast
gonna
over
say,
that amount of
It's
time.
crazy. It's
No, I was
crazy.
talking to a friend who went to A&M, but he's one of those guys who went to A&M but wasn't an Aggie, like one of those guys.
We respect
So
those
like
people.
we respect him, yeah. And he commuted to class, and he's like, I would park right by the speed walkers.
Oh.
He's like, that's just where his parking lot was, and he's
Yeah.
like, every morning I'd walk in, and they're like, because A&M has like a really big speed walking thing, and he's like, their hips are just moving in really weird ways.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they do. They really do, though.
I will tell you, real talk, I think I would have a lot of fun and I would do terribly, but I think I would have a lot of fun with the mountain biking.
Oh, okay. But you'd have fun. I like that pick. That's a
Exactly.
good fun pick. Yes.
Exactly. I have one
pick.
mountain bike, and I think some of it's downhill, and I really do enjoy at least watching that one. So
Okay.
I think I'd have a lot of fun with that one.
terrified.
Okay.
Man. I definitely go like over the handlebars at some point on that.
Oh no, I'm probably also going to die. Like any of these sports, like it is incredibly deadly for me.
Hit yourself with the hammer during the hammer throw somehow.
No, exactly. I'm dropping the ball. I'm dropping the shot put on my foot and slicing it clean off. Like any of these things.
Right.
Don't even mention the javelin.
That would be remarkable to impale yourself while you're the one throwing the javelin.
When you
you're
go
right.
further than the javelin, you've done something wrong. Yeah. Johnny, what about you? And because you played soccer, I'm going to say you can't play soccer. I'm going to move that off the table.
I mean, part of me might not want to really pick soccer because if I'm actually honest, like, because we're assuming I can't just sit on the bench. Like,
sure, yeah,
I would get throttled. So it honestly might like hurt me to my core to play soccer.
Yeah.
I have played against professionals before, and there is nothing more humbling. And we're talking like 5th division in Europe. But anyway, sidetrack. I think the first sports that kind of come to my mind are archery.
Yeah.
You know, because even if that's bad, I think I'd have a good time. I it would just it'd be a great time. Do some archery, just kind of hang out. I enjoy archery. I think that'd be fun. So kind of with Josh's mountain biking, that's the vibes pick. And I think I would pick, I think I'd pick surfing as the quick death.
Oh, nice.
Because there'd somehow be a shark there just for me that they missed. And
yeah, you wouldn't die.
Let's be honest, with
the
these
traditional
waves. Yeah, with these waves in Tahiti, death. I am a novice when it comes to attempting to surf. So I will.
I'll tell you,
quick death.
Probably,
That's my pick there.
there's probably a few better places to die, frankly.
Yeah,
That's true.
Beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful. Aaron, what about you?
I think the one that because I'm with you guys, even though you would think, wow, that sport, there's no chance for someone to get seriously injured. I think we would find a way. Like, again, I mentioned last week, volleyball. I tried to
Oh,
return one serve and the ball goes clean through my skull. So it's not
No, I
going to be
don't
something
want
like that.
volleyball. That terrifies
I
me.
think table tennis, I'm going to get absolutely destroyed and embarrassed, but I think I would have fun. Like if I returned
Oh,
one
yeah.
serve, then I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about that the rest of my life.
You won't be maimed.
Probably not.
Hopefully.
No, I don't think so. Because I thought badminton, because I like playing pickleball and I like racket sports, but sometimes the birdie goes over 300 miles an hour.
What?
And that's just going in my eye socket. There's no doubt about
I
it.
gotta watch. I gotta watch
Actually,
badminton.
Yep.
I gotta add
I'm
that to
adding
the list.
Yeah. All right, Peacock. show me
300
nothing but badminton.
miles
Yep.
per hour.
Yep.
Oh, my
What?
hmm
That's crazy. Also, when's pickleball getting at?
I don't know.
Gotta
I
be
hope
soon,
so.
right?
I would
Probably
hope
the
so.
next one. Where's the next one? Where's
28
after
LA,
that?
32 is because
Oh,
it's not
that's-
going to be LA.
wow, I
it takes a
should've known
while.
that.
But what's 32?
That's true.
Let me look. Summer.
Because I actually
Olympics.
think the U.S. would be the perfect host for the initial pickleball.
Yeah, they probably would. Oh, it's Australia.
But that's okay.
It's Brisbane and Queensland.
Oh, I would love to
Ooh.
hear a bunch of
Hey,
Australians.
maybe
pronounce
I'll go to
pickleball.
that Olympics instead of the one in LA. I think I'd
Yeah, fair
enjoy Australia better.
Fair enough. Austin, who's joining us on YouTube, just as a quick plug, we stream the show on our YouTube channel usually every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. He says I'd play golf, get my money's worth. That's actually a really, really good pick because
Oh,
you'd get to play with all of the best golfers you watch on TV.
Yeah.
That's a really good pick.
That's
The
great.
good picks are the ones where you're not going to be physically dominated.
Yeah.
That's why I picked archery.
Mhm.
It's just like, am I going to get destroyed? Yeah, but
Mhm.
they're not aiming the bow at me.
Right.
Like, man, well, now that's an idea.
No, that's war. That's
Versus,
just called war.
versus archery. No.
No, versus archery. They call that a battle.
Oh.
Archery duels.
Mm.
They call that. I mean, France and England have had archery duels, and I think they just called that
Versus
the 7 Years
archery.
War.
Yeah.
Versus archery.
Yeah. My quick death would probably be water polo. If I was looking for something like that,
That would be a quick.
I think
death
that's. I
for
think that's.
all
I
of
think
us.
that's
Yeah.
incredibly quick.
That might be
Mhm.
the quickest. That's why I chose water as well.
Uh-huh.
Surfing.
Yep. Wow, what were we even? Oh yeah, we were talking about Team
yeah.
USA.
Sorry. Let's go back to Americans that are good at the sports
Yeah.
that we are self-professed bad at.
But the point of that we do need a random person to show us like how actually incredible these athletes are. That's kind of true. I'll
Yeah.
throw out there one.
And the reason we don't is people would die.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people would.
Yeah, you throw some poor person into a pool and say, "Hey, go throw this ball." Go.
Right. Can you imagine though, Aaron, if somebody chose quick death, like I'd like to run the marathon. That sounds like the worst option in this scenario.
Yeah,
That might be the
decathlon.
absolute worst.
Do
option.
all of the track and field.
Oh no.
Yeah. What if we did all of the track and field in 2 days? That's called decathlon, which is a very fun
Yeah.
event too. That's one I enjoy. We kind of talked about track and field. I'll talk about archery because we have mentioned other forms of archery somehow. Casey Koffold, I think I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. She is currently, last I checked, the #1 ranked women's archer in the world, which is sick. So she won, I believe, the World Championships in 2022. So it's part of the reason why she qualified. I think this is her second Olympics, so I really think she was going to qualify without doing that. But that's really interesting because Korea just dominated archery last year, and they included the mixed team archery event. I believe that was last Olympics. By the way, if I ever say last year, you know what I meant. Last Olympics. I realize it was 2021, but last Olympics, Korea just dominated. They probably will again. But that's super interesting to see if maybe she can win the women's individual competition. Maybe that means the women's team competition will have some success. So that'd be really fun because archery is not something that historically the U.S. has been really successful at. So that's one I'm personally interested in.
Yeah. I'm going to give a quick plug to an up-and-comer. This is his Olympics, but had a very strong showing at the his most recent bout last year. Jacob Flihal. I'm so sorry, Jacob. Plihal. So Plihal. Please help me pronounce your name because I'm bad at it.
File. Maybe file.
File. But see, I would want it to be that, but the H is way too late in the word.
I think it's Plyle. That's my
Plyle?
That's my final guess.
Plyle sounds good. I'm probably overpronouncing things. His first big showing post college was at last year's Pan American Games 2023, and placed second, got the silver medal in the men's single sculls, and then actually won gold with the mixed eight. He is in both events this year.
Nice.
That was his first big outing, and did fantastic. So I am very excited to see. He is the only single sculls rower going for the U.S. And then obviously part of 7 others for the mixed eight.
Wow.
So very excited. He's
awesome.
Another guy who's our age.
Love it.
Was born in June of '96, which makes me feel real good about myself.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good one. Yeah. Johnny, anybody else that you're paying attention to?
Just to kind of, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but in more specifics, I love, and I know this is what NBC will show on their main broadcast every evening. They'll try to probably even make it to where at a time live that's good for the Western Hemisphere, just because we tend to dominate it. But I always can't wait for the sprints and the rivalry between the U.S. and Jamaica, both on the men's and women's side. So I'm looking forward to watching those. I don't know the exact times, but I'm assuming just because it's usually really a race between those two countries more than anyone else, they'll put it at least at a time where in an attempt to get us to be able to watch that live.
Yep.
So
that's correct.
I am very much looking forward to those relays, and even just the singles for the 100 and 200. Those are it's a blast to be able to watch, partially just because you really don't know who's going to win. And the Jamaicans have definitely gotten the best of the Americans recently, but track is kind of funny sometimes because you have all these heats leading up to it. And sometimes you have a better heat than you even have a final. And it's these races are so close that you could just be having an off day. Like, as we all, and that's one thing just about the Olympics in general. Like, we all have our off days, right? But nobody's scrutinizing us. And it's rare that it's the day that you've been building your whole life up to at that point, right? Like, I have an off day at work tomorrow. Oh well. Like, I don't get as much done. Like, these guys wake up and they're just a little off that day. That's the 10th of a second that they lose to the other team.
Yep.
So, I'm just always fascinated to watch those track and field events because they're so tight. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's a preview for my picks of the week. I'll get a little more specific with those teams.
Yeah, that's good. And you are correct. I can confirm those sprint events a lot of times are starting around 2-3-ish p.m. Eastern time. So that's the case for that. That's the case for swimming. That's the case for gymnastics. There's potentially events happening like way early in the morning, but they have done, yet again, the Americans is solid, and they are giving us those events in the evening for us. So that's, or afternoon, but available to watch
as late as they can, really.
Yeah, because
it's 8 for them.
Yeah, right. Yep. I'll talk about just a couple other athletes real quick, and then we can move into our picks here. Having no knowledge of what happened with our picks last week. A couple athletes I want to mention. 3-on-3 basketball is a new thing that was introduced in Tokyo. It's back in Paris. Our women's team won gold. That's very exciting. It's a new roster for the most part for them, but they're competing again. Good for the U.S. women's. The men's team didn't even make the Olympics on 3-on-3 basketball in Tokyo, which if you compare it to our normal basketball success, that seems a bit odd, and it is a little bit. But how many people are really playing 3-on-3 basketball in America? Not as many. Not NBA players necessarily, except for the front runner on the U.S. men's 3-on-3 team. Now, I don't know how long you've been a sports fan, but if you have been a sports fan since 2011, then I've got good news for you. Because do you remember a certain three-point shooter who played for BYU in 2011, who led the nation in scoring, I believe, who was the National Player of the Year, who had a ridiculous run in the NCAA tournament? I am, of course, talking about Jimmer Fredette. Well, he's on the men's 3-on-3 basketball team. He's been named in the league that they play in to qualify for the Olympics. He's one of the best players. He's leading this team. That'll be super fun. 3-on-3 basketball. It's really, really high-paced basketball if you've never tuned in. The shot clock's 12 seconds. So it's really, really quick. It's 10-minute games or first to 21. You play by ones and twos. It's very like pick up, like you would play with your friends, you know, just like at a park or at the LA Fitness or whatever. So it's really fun. And teams are playing multiple games a day, and eventually there's a bracket. I think it's good. Some people don't like it. To each their own, but I think that's going to be really good. So he's one player to watch. Golf. We talked about it jokingly as a event that we wouldn't die trying. The U.S. has a really good chance again in golf. They swept the gold medals last year. Xander Schauffele on the men's side and Nelly Korda on the women's side. Nelly Korda is still ranked the number one golfer in America. Xander Schauffele is not ranked number one, but he's back in Paris. And the number one golfer who has been cleaning up in the tournaments is Scotty Scheffler. So that'll be really fun. He's obviously competing for the U.S. The U.S. can only get 4 members of what? Let me rephrase this. The U.S. is limited to 4 golf players in this tournament, as are all the other countries. So there's plenty of other really good golfers who are American, who are well in the top 20, top 30, that would get into a normal PGA major kind of deal that are not necessarily invited to the Olympics. So it's very exclusive for those that do get to play. So I'm excited for that. I won't necessarily pay super close attention just with all the other events like I might for a golf major. Maybe I'm not watching it during rounds 1 and 2. We'll see. But towards the end, that could be really interesting, especially if there's multiple Team USA members competing in golf. So we've tried our best in the last 2 weeks to cover just about as many sports as we possibly can, and we're going to try to do it just a little bit more with our picks. So this week, well, let me start by saying this. Last week we made Olympic picks. Again, we're recording right after we recorded, and the Olympics haven't fully started yet, so we'll address that next week. This week we're making Olympic picks, but we've specified, rather than Johnny just jumping on the most obvious pick of all time and Katie Ledecky winning the 1500, we're picking a team gold medal, but we're trying to pick maybe some of the more obscure ones. So we're staying away from swimming. We're staying away from gymnastics. We're trying to go a little bit more sicko here. Water polo. Our U.S. women's water polo team is looking for their 4th straight gold medal. I think they're going to get it. If they do, I can't remember her name. That's my bad for not having this prepped. But our team captain on Team USA, this would be her 4th gold medal, and no other water polo player has ever won 4 gold medals. So that's pretty sweet. I'm going to pick it because I want it to happen, but because I think we can do it again. Women's water polo, USA, all the way.
It's going to sound a little similar, but man, men's water polo. If you know anything about men's water polo, you know one thing. It is dominated by the Balkans. It is, and more specifically, it is dominated by former Soviet bloc nations, very specifically. I'm pulling up the most recent, when I say most recent data, this has only been around since 1900, more or less. My goodness. Hold on, where is it? I lost everything. Everything's gone. Johnny, where did you put it? Where did it go?
Did it. It's my fault.
Yeah, it's okay. I forgive you. I lost it. I had everything here. Okay, this is not what I had. I'm really professional today, guys. Where I had it, I was on this thing, and it was great. It was so good.
Would you like
Okay,
me to do mine, Josh?
yeah, go ahead and do yours. That way we can just cut this.
All right.
I had it.
Well, for my pick, I am in a gray area of the rules, but I picked such an obvious pick for the first one that I felt like I really kind of owed it to Aaron and Josh to pick one that was going to be uber competitive and anything but a guarantee. Now, I will say them being anything short of silver medalists would be somewhat shocking. However, uh, I'm going to talk about the 4x100 meter relay for the US women. I'm picking them to win the gold medal there. So that is anything but a guarantee. Last time around, Jamaica won in Tokyo. They won the gold medal. It was the third fastest time in history. This is a constant, back and forth between the two countries, men's and women's, when it comes to sprints. Sha'Carri Richardson wasn't able to compete last time around, though. She is back. So that'll be that's a big bonus. The besides Sha'Carri, it's Gabby Thomas, it's Tamari Davis, it's TT Terry. They won the 23 track and field world championships in the 4x1. So last, World Cup, excuse me, still got soccer on the brain, clearly. Last Olympics, Jamaica won. But just last year, the U.S. women won. So, you know what? I love that. I love that. I love Katie Ledecky for her dominance, but I also love an event like this where it's two rivals going at each other, and that you'll get to see that in the Olympics, but it's not always as clear cut as here's the two facing off against one another, especially when it's a big field and a lot of competitors at once. So I'm really, really excited to get to see these two countries that dominate really sprints go at it against one another. So I'm obviously got to stick with the U.S. women here, cheering on the ladies. Hopefully they can bring it home.
I love it.
Guys, it sounds like I'm mirroring Aaron, but I promise I found it first.
He did. I can confirm. You were in the show notes before I was.
It is, just generally speaking, probably one of the most, it's like a guilty pleasure. Not guilty pleasure, just one of those absolute fascinations. Men's water polo. Obviously, the blood in the water match from the 80s is historic. And actually, speaking of which, if you know anything about men's water polo, you know 3 words: former Soviet bloc. Basically, Yugoslavia dominated for the longest time until Yugoslavia stopped existing. And then Hungary and Serbia basically split the difference and have split the difference since. The most recent winning streak, when I say streak, just back to back, was Serbia in 2016 and 2020. So I am picking Serbia to take that three-peat. I believe the three-peat has only happened, period. This would be only the third or fourth time. This does not happen often, but I am hoping for the best. I am excited to see Serbia do what they do best, which is, in this case, men's water polo.
Yeah. Well, I just think when I think of Serbia, it's hard for me not to think of Jokic. And I just think of his two brothers.
Yeah.
And basically, it's 11 of his brothers in a pool trying to kill you. I mean, gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, Aaron, you were right about the quick death.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whew.
It might not even be because anybody did anything to me. I just drowned.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're asking me to tread water that long? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. By the way, Serbia, speaking of Serbia and Jokic, I should point out that Team USA basketball will get underway shortly. They are in a group with Serbia. It's actually their very first game. They will play Jokic. And then they also play South Sudan and Puerto Rico.
Ooh.
So
that'll be fun.
That's that. Guys, any other Olympic thoughts before we wrap up the show? I know it's a little bit shorter than usual, but that's because we normally give you episodes longer than you're asking for. So, any other Olympic thoughts before we action statements, things you're excited about, any of the above?
Go jump in a river in honor of the Seine being used.
Yep,
For our water events and our opening ceremonies.
that's good.
I will give a slight addendum to that. Check said waterways cleanliness, especially for those.
I can guarantee you, in this country, they're not as clean as the Seine. We've been totally making fun of it the whole time, and I'm almost 100% certain it would be the cleanest river in America.
Especially those of you in Ohio, remember the Cuyahoga would catch on fire every now and then. The runoff.
We fixed it, Josh. We fixed it.
Yes, it hasn't caught on fire recently. That's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good.
Celebratory.
Yeah, and the action statement really is enjoy the Olympics. We're super
Enjoy it.
excited.
Watch, you know what? Watch one event live, early live,
There you
like
go.
at least once. I realize, yes,
Before
we can
noon.
watch things before. I would, and honestly, I'll say this: challenge yourself. Wake
4
up at
a.m.
like 5 and watch something.
Yeah.
4 or 5. Wake up. It's gonna feel weird and like, why is the sun not up? But I am. But there's something about, for me, it's nostalgic about just waking up super early and
Yeah.
watching something like that in the moment. I would do that for like the 24 hours of Le Mans and all of this.
Yes.
It's so great. Do it. You won't
And
regret it. Just once.
Make it fun. Have some chocolate chip
fun.
pancakes.
Yeah.
Like do a big
Yes.
breakfast or something that morning. Make it a celebration.
I
Comes
did
around
that
once every 4
for-
years.
I did it for the Major League Baseball season opener because we started the season, if you remember, way back in March. We started the
right.
season in, was it Korea? Was that right, or was it Japan?
Yeah.
It was Korea, I
I
think.
think it was Seoul. Yeah.
Yeah. I apparently remember it so well. Either way, I remember that I set my alarm at 5 a.m. That was after going to both first 4 games both nights.
Oh yeah.
So that was a stupid thing to do, but you know what? I had
Why
the
did you
best
even
time.
Why did you even go to sleep?
I really didn't, to be honest with you, but just I was preparing myself for this moment. It's those things that turn me into the monster that I am, to the absolute Olympic sicko. So enjoy. It's a sweet time. There's so many different events. It's a cool thing that you can root for Team USA. It's kind of funny how, you know, we can all kind of put politics aside for these 2 weeks and really be obnoxious Americans, fully embrace that side, even if that's not us on a normal basis. It's kind of fun. So lean into it, have a ton of fun, watch as much as you can, do it with friends. It's just a great time. It's a good 2 weeks. We'll be talking about it more. We'll recap what there is to recap next week. So listeners, thank you for joining us. I hope this Olympic preview has been helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will talk to you all next week. YouTube.
Ugh, I can't
Thanks
wait.
all.
Now I'm ready to watch right now.
I
know.
know. We spent too much time hyping it.
Yeah. All right, YouTube. I got to get out of here. I got to practice college football. So, bye.